Oh God, I spilled. Oh God. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of EarBuddies. I am Ian Meyer, joined per usual by the purveyor of jugs himself, Scott El Guchador Kraus. How are you doing, Scott?
Sup, man? Wham.
Not a whole lot. What have you been up to? How you doing?
Doing pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah, busy show week for me.
Yeah, you're going to 4 shows this week?
4?
I thought so.
I mean, I'm seeing 2.
You're going to one tomorrow, right?
Yeah. What was the other 2?
You've been to 2 this week.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess so.
Why do I know more about your show schedule than you?
I don't know. I'm seeing Robin Hitchcock tonight.
Nice.
Of the Soft Boys and Robin Hitchcock and the Egyptians and Robin Hitchcock and the Venus 3. And I'm seeing Hieroglyphics on Monday.
Nice. I've heard you talk about that.
Hip-hop crew. They played for free, or Souls of Mischief is part of the Hieroglyphics crew. They played for free 2 Fridays ago in Sacto. But
right on.
I paid money to see them again.
Good.
Big fan.
Hope it's a good show.
Classic Oakland hip-hop and classic UK folk.
Combined?
No.
Oh, yeah.
One night apart. Both at Harlow's, the often mentioned Harlow's on this podcast.
Yeah, we do mention Harlow's a lot on here.
Yeah, they should start paying us.
Yeah. Hey, Harlow's, reach out to us at earbuddiespod@gmail.com if you want to pay us for promotion.
Yeah, you scratch our back, we'll scratch yours. We already do it for free, but we'll do it more.
You need us, Harlow.
Yeah.
No, they don't. They are doing just fine. I don't know why I'm saying that weird.
You okay?
I don't think so.
Snap out of it.
I haven't had too much going on, but my wife, I'm going to tell you anyway.
All right.
You bitch.
All right, fine. Go ahead.
My wife just graduated from a 4-year.
Amazing.
Just graduated from Sac State. She's probably listening to this in the other room. She's silent. She might have actually taken off and gone to the store.
That's probably for the best.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Had the graduation ceremony last night, and it was pretty sweet. It was, it's been a long, tiresome road, and she made that road her bitch.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's cool. It's a relief.
Awesome. Yeah, they're going to have to repair that road.
No, and we went out and had some food and a beer with Shane, friend of the podcast, Shane. But yeah, other than that, we haven't had a ton going on, but hopefully now we'll have time to spend together.
Yeah.
It'll be cool.
Congrats.
Yeah. I'm very proud. I'm a proud husband.
You're like a grad dad.
I'm a grad daddy.
You're a grad poppy.
Scott, what are we here to really talk about today?
We are here to talk about a very special album, Pile, Green, and Gray.
That's right.
And I kind of begged you to do this one. It wasn't on our list, really.
No, it kind of popped up, but you didn't have to beg that hard. I was optimistic about it. So how did you discover these guys? Are they someone that's been on your radar for a while, or?
Yeah. Well, for about a year.
Okay.
I mentioned them on the highly anticipated episode that we did. I don't know what episode that was. We did an episode where we listed all of our most anticipated releases for the year at the beginning of this year, 2019. I put this one as kind of like an honorable. I think it was more of an honorable mention.
It might have been, yeah.
Because I like this band. I had discovered them recently. Last year, they kept showing up on my streaming playlists, curated playlists. It's just stuff that it's right up my alley kind of stuff. But I didn't really get too hard into them, aside from a couple songs. But I was like, hey, they're releasing an album, so I gotta look out for it. I'm interested what this is going to be like, because I did really like a couple songs a lot. I just couldn't get into their full albums at the time.
Okay.
So I kind of put it as oh yeah. And they had a single out at the time, Bruxus Grin, and I thought that was a good song. So I was just I had a medium hype for this. But then the album came out, and I'll just get into my initial thoughts, I guess, now. We'll just...
This episode's going to be 9 minutes long.
Yeah. Well, okay, before I do that, Did you know about this band at all?
No, I did not.
Okay.
Before you told me about them.
Yeah, you probably didn't even remember from the anticipated because we went through a lot of bands. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is one that I didn't expect to review on this show, just because it isn't really in the public eye. I guess it's not like it doesn't seem like a band that you and I would share. Mm-hmm. It's more of a me band. I put on this album completely like floored by it. My expectations were just exceeded more than my wildest dreams. I had no idea how good this album was going to be. So when it came out, I could not stop playing it.
Those are the best moments.
Yeah, I kind of pushed to talk about it because, yeah, it blew me away. I was like completely. I don't know. That's pretty much. That's where I'm at right now. I just want to talk about it.
It's just taking your breath away.
We listen to this show takes a while to prepare. I mean, you listen to an album you might not necessarily like 5-6 times or whatever in a week. I had listened to this album like 10 times on my own free will. And I'm just like, we got to talk about this. Like an album like this doesn't come along that often for me. I don't usually do that. So yeah, we'll go into detail about it in a bit, but what are your initial thoughts here?
Let me run down the track listing real quick for Green and Gray. We have Firewood, Your Performance, On a Bigger Screen, Other Moons, Hair, A Labyrinth with No Center, The Soft Hands of Stephen Miller. I have a lot of questions about that. Lord of Calendars, Bruxist Grin, A Bug on Its Back, My Employer, Hiding Places, and No Hands. 13 tracks of Green and Gray. My initial thoughts. I liked it a lot more than I expected to.
Yeah.
But having said that, I wasn't sure what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
But right off the bat with the song Firewood, I thought this was like a really good introduction to the whole album.
It's just like, yeah, as soon as this song hit, I was like, whoa. I was just...
It comes in real subtle and stuff. And, there's a lot of dynamic on the album. But... yes, it is a raw album. There's a lot of raw elements, but not in a bad way. It's it's refined in its own way, but it still maintains kind of like a garage feel.
So the thing about this album, and I put this in all caps, dynamics all over this thing. Just front to back dynamics, just twists and turns.
Yeah.
In this one song, there's like 4 different sections. I feel like it starts out like this, and it gets fast, it gets heavy, it's like somber. There's so many things to each song.
Yeah.
And a lot of this album feels like the songs kind of continue off of each other.
They do. That's one thing I noticed too, is there's some like seamless track changes.
Yeah.
And I feel like you don't really see that a whole lot anymore.
It's so well crafted.
At least maybe I haven't come across it in a while. Like this right here, when it just picks up.
This part, with the horns sort of like in the back and the strings. They have a lot of strings on this album too.
They do a bit.
Yeah.
It is a strange album. There's a lot of stuff like that just kind of can fly under the radar, but then when you listen back, you're like, wait, did they just do that?
Yeah. Everything feels so meticulous. And I think this is just such a passionate intro.
It really sets the stage for the rest of the album too.
Yeah.
Like it really sets you up for a lot of cool stuff. But like with this band, one of the things that stood out to me is the singer gets a little pitchy on some parts, but I kind of like it.
Yeah.
How they kept it as opposed to, really fine-tuning some pitch correction on his vocals or something, because it maintains a lot of the fidelity of the music a bit for me.
Yeah.
And just, I don't know, it gives it that small venue feel that I like.
Yeah, he's not, I guess he's not like a professional caliber vocalist.
And he's a good vocalist, so there's just parts where it sounds like, oh, he got a little off key there, and they didn't fix it, but I'm glad they didn't fix it. It's more truthful, I guess. It's more, What's the word? Help me out here. What's the word I'm looking for?
It's honest. Just, I don't know.
Next. Try again.
Endearing.
Endearing. We're getting there. Give me another one.
You're asking me to think of words?
Yeah, to put in my mouth so I can say it.
No.
Damn.
I can't even think of words to put in my mouth.
You're better at it than I am.
Something that we kind of jumped into this, and that's my fault, but I want to mention that this band was originally a solo project for the singer Rick McGuire.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I don't know if this lineup is updated on Wikipedia. I think that 2 of the members quit or something for the release of this album. They moved from Boston to Nashville, but Rick McGuire and the drummer Chris Cuss are still in the band. And according to Wikipedia, the other members are Chappie Hole and Alex Molini. I'm not sure if those are
Chappie Hole,
Chris Cuss. You can't make it. You can't make these names up.
Chappie Hole.
Yeah, that one's kind of I hope he's not in the band still.
I wonder if that's
kidding.
his. I don't know why I'm so flabbergasted by Chappie Hole.
Just the name Chappie is a little off-putting.
It sounds like chapped hole. Come on, let's be real here.
Didn't think about that.
Chapman Hole. We can move on.
So Firewood is the opener, but then it kind of goes seamlessly into the next song, Your Performance. A lot of the songs will just pick up, like they'll continue this drone and kind of pick up exactly where the last one left off. Like I definitely feel like Your Performance, while not necessarily a highlight by any means, it's kind of just a mood piece. Like this album feels like it's orchestrated like kind of a classical arrangement.
Yeah.
In like a alt rock kind of style, which I think is like so interesting. Each song goes through so many different things, and there's songs that feel like there's like 3 songs within the same song. Like they do like the Paranoid Android type of thing, where it's like it feels like they wrote different songs and crammed them together.
While listening to this album, I had a bunch of moments where I didn't realize that I was listening to the same song during certain changes, like, oh, this is the same song, and then other times where I didn't realize it had moved on to another song, next track.
It happens through like the whole album. Like there's like only a couple times where it's like, okay, this is ended and this is begun. I feel like. I think a good example of the Paranoid Android thing is a song Lord of Calendars. So it starts out very hard and heavy.
Yeah. Yeah, they can go soft on this, and then they can do some crazy...
Goes into this here. And this song is a little like Radiohead coming up.
Yes.
Yeah.
It does.
I like this part a lot.
Yeah.
And then it goes back to the weirdly epic out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I think that's just awesome. I can't get enough. And I've been playing the shit out of this album, and I'm not getting sick of it. So
that's good. I'm
putting all my cards on the table right now. Why don't you take over a little bit? Do you have any other kind of opening?
Yeah. So, I mean, I kind of went over some of my thoughts. Here's an odd one that I noted while listening to it earlier. It's kind of reminiscent of My Morning Jacket in a way.
Huh.
Different kind of style, I guess, but I think I mean that more in like a production.
Okay.
The production of it. It's got kind of a shit, man. How do I describe it?
I didn't get that at all. Stuff. But yeah.
It doesn't sound necessarily like My Morning Jacket, but you know, one of their albums they recorded in like a big warehouse and at live. They say recording it live, which is all instrumentation at the same time, everybody at the same time, as opposed to, you know, recording the drums first, then the bass, and then guitar, or whatever, and layering it.
Okay, so when I think of that type of style, I think of Steve Albini.
Okay.
Who did In Utero? He did Surfer Rosa by the Pixies. Rid of Me by PJ Harvey. They always record the drums in like a spacious type of thing.
Yeah.
And I got a lot, like a heavy, I even wrote that in my notes on one of these
As soon as you mentioned In Utero, I was like, yep, that's a good, that's a good draw.
His drums always sound like that. It always sounds like live drums.
Yeah.
And this album is reminiscent of that. I actually wrote that on the song Soft Hands of Stephen Miller. Mm-hmm. I wrote it's Albini style drums.
The recordings of these songs aren't necessarily the cleanest recordings.
No.
But they sound great. And I think that if the production was just a little bit tighter on that end, this would be like great for me.
Okay.
But something about it kind of sounding like it is in a spacious area for each one was like just a little bit, I don't even want to call it a drawback, but it kind of just
comes down to preference, I guess.
Yeah.
I actually love that. I think that's something I wouldn't change. I think I prefer it like that. Yeah.
I think that for every song to be kind of like sound that spacious and kind of, it started to sound a little clustered for me. Mm-hmm. I'll think of a better way to explain it after we're done recording, as tends to happen.
Yeah.
You'll get a text from me later. Fuck, I should have said it this way. But and then we can post that on Instagram. But yeah, some of it just started to sound a little bit clustered to me, I guess. And I don't know, but it's, not enough to really take a whole lot away from me. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I think some of the tonal qualities started to kind of grate on me a little bit. I don't have any prime examples of that at the ready, but at certain points is like I was getting some like kind of ear fatigue, but that could change from setting to setting.
Vocally or instrumentally?
Just overall.
Oh, okay.
When everything's going at once, something about it kind of gave me a little bit of...
There's a lot of layers to this album.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that is just personal preference, I guess. Yeah. I actually, I have very little complaints about this album. I feel like if I'm going to complain, it would probably just be in that it can be a little cryptic lyrically. I'm not necessarily 100% sure what he's talking about, but that could just be on me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But other than that, I feel like the way that they crafted this album to flow so flawlessly and the way that they managed to balance all of the changes and like the dynamics in rock and roll, to have dynamics like this all over the place and calculated sounding. And it's like as if a conductor is, doing the hand motions to like go up or down, like it have like decrescendos and stuff even. And it's like to do that and still have songs that I feel like singing along to, still have earworms and they have multiple changes in the same song. You don't know when songs end or begin. I think it's like a feat. I haven't heard a rock album like this in a long time. I think it's just a very impressive, mind-blowing. I think it's very underrated. I think people are overlooking this album.
I think that's fair.
I think people are starting to realize that this is a special album. I'm coming from somebody who is like lukewarm on this band. Like I like them. I never disliked them. I always thought that they were good, but it's like I'll put on a few songs and then I'll do something else. This album, I cannot stop listening to this album.
I think I'm with you on having little complaints on this. I think any complaint I have about this album is more personal preference.
Yeah.
As opposed to like a rigid critique or complaint kind of thing. I mean, like even the production, like my critique about the production, like, okay, that might be more of a personal preference thing.
Yeah.
If it was just a little bit cleaner and maybe not everything sounded as spacious as it does, maybe I would dig it more, but maybe not. If it was too tight, maybe I'd be like, oh, it needs to have more of a open feel.
Yeah. It's just good. Like I wrote so many notes. I wrote notes about every single song. Mm-hmm. But really it's like, where do I even start? It's so great.
Well, we did number 1 and number 2. Go to number 3.
All right. Number 3
on a bigger screen,
screaming, pounding, driving, Jehu style. Reminded me a lot of the band Drive Like Jehu. I wear their shirt a lot.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Heavy and dark sounding, intense, drops out to stripped down guitar, brushes and strings, incredible. That's what I wrote about On a Bigger Scale.
See, and the ones that sound kind of more like this,
Yeah.
I'm not into as much, but it is more like a personal preference, I think.
More like a punk type of thing.
Yeah.
I just...
Like this feel.
When the vocals come in...
I'm not into this type of feel.
This so passionate. It's like intensely passionate. I haven't heard anything delivered like this in years.
It reminds me of it reminds me a bit of some Melvins.
This is
Am I
like Drive
wrong?
Like Jehu to me. I'll play you some Drive Like Jehu right now.
Whatever happened with the vocals there, I think gave me a little Melvins feel. This is Drive Like Jehu.
Drive Like Jehu. Something like driving like that. Like
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit. But it gave me vibes of this.
It's like a repeating, really intense riff.
Yeah, just like definitely not this intense, but
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
I see
don't
where
know,
you're
man.
coming from, though.
But then it drops out to just like so like this. Like what is
Yeah.
this?
With
Out of nowhere.
Maybe some Ebo in the background. One of these songs has some whammy pedal going on, and I like me some whammy pedal, Scott. Let me tell you.
Is that like a guitar solo at the end? 'Cause I couldn't figure out. There's an
might have
effect on one of these songs I couldn't figure out, and maybe you could help me with that. It's just a freaking great, just so freaking great.
just hit all the bullet points for you.
Yeah, I just like the last couple weeks I've been kind of like, oh, what should I listen to? I can't listen to this again, and I'm like, why not?
I've had that with some albums.
Yeah.
I think we all have, actually. That's a dumb statement of me. Hey,
Oh.
I've done that too.
Okay, the effect is in hiding places. We're jumping all over the place with this one.
That's all right.
It's all good.
We always do.
Yeah.
This song is super long. It's 7 minutes and something.
Yeah.
But this is like a cool jam.
The key changes in this little solo here that just like it keeps changing.
So he's not whammying,
Okay, what
but
is
there
it?
may be some like octave generation going on in there,
Okay.
which I'm very partial to.
So triumphant.
Yeah, that's a good word for it.
I want to like this. This should be my entrance music.
This one was one of the ones that actually reminded me of some sort of My Morning Jacket thing, but I can't explain why.
This might be the most like blatant solo on the album. Anyway,
Yeah, I liked that a lot.
there's a lot of little moments sprinkled throughout this album. It's hard to single out individual tracks for me just because like every song had so many different things going on. And I see that I kind of looked at rateyourmusic.com as like a reference. What are people thinking about this album? Because I haven't seen too many formal reviews. And there's like comments like, oh, I play this album and I like it when it's on, but when it's off, I don't know, what happened kind of thing. I think it's
Yeah.
because there's so many different changes. I can't relate to that. I feel like when this is off, I'm thinking about the hair. I'm thinking about other moons. Like there's vocal things that stick with me. We're already jumping around like crazy. I feel like maybe it's time we just we single out individual tracks.
Yeah, we can.
Do you have any track picks for this album?
I think Hair might have been one of my standouts, actually.
Hair is the first song that just really hit me.
I
on
thought this was a
album.
pretty cool song.
Yeah.
I think I get what people are saying of when it's on, this is cool. When it ends and it's over, I'm kind of like, what happened? I think I can understand that.
Yeah, I understand where people were coming from. For me
And not in a
personally,
bad way.
Yeah, for me personally, I get it, but like, I had this song stuck in my head as soon as I listened to this album.
And I never ended up having any of these songs really stuck in my head. When I was listening through the album, I'm thinking, yeah, this is really cool. And then when it ended, I'm like, oh, I don't even know which ones I liked just now. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's a little overwhelming in some ways.
I did like the vocals on this, though.
Yeah, well, it's like this chorus, like, I got some hair there, hanging on. It's coming up. Don't take my word for it. I'll point out when it comes up.
Big old tangled mess.
this thing right here. In my ears, this is like a really. It sounds like defeated, like he's kind of depressed, but also like there's kind of a sweetness to this.
Mm-hmm.
It feels a little like, I don't know. I can't describe it. It's a little like complex, but
Yeah.
This line really got stuck in my head though. I don't know what it means, but
Maybe we don't need to know what it means.
yeah.
If it's stuck in your head and you like it, then mission accomplished.
But yeah, it's another one of those tracks that just really logically builds. There's another band called Bedhead that I remember loving for their dynamics, where it's like you didn't even realize that they were building because it was such a subtle crescendo, but then they would get to the end and it was like so obviously different.
Uh-huh.
This band has been doing that on this album for me a little bit, where it's like, yeah, this song starts really quiet, like hair starts really quiet, and it gains some strings, and yeah, dynamics. I'm just as I listen to more things and get older, I feel like that's something that I always grab onto now. That's like my thing right now. It's like the American football we were just talking about.
Uh-huh.
We just reviewed American football's LP3. No dynamics.
Yeah.
And I left that album feeling like, man, what could they that it just felt a little lacking. If they had crescendoed or dropped out or had any sections like on this album, I think it just improves albums like so much. It's such an underrated thing for rock. Anyway, so that was one of your track picks, Hair.
Yeah. I thought that one was really cool. I'll save my number one for last because I have a feeling that... Oh, they're not going to line up. Never mind. I'll save my number one for later. I think another one was My Employer.
That was another one of my picks.
Ooh, boy.
We're lining up right now.
Look at us. Two boys lining up with our picks. Thanks for the coffee, by the way.
Yeah.
We didn't even talk about that. We went to Mimosa House before this record.
We got a lot of starch in our system.
Yeah, I feel pretty good. I'm not as much in the food coma as I was worried we were going to be.
Yeah, I feel like an obese man, but at least I'm caffeinated.
We're doing all right. We had a good time. We're having a fun day.
We're gonna have a great old time.
Yeah, we're okay.
A lot of my picks were the more somber moments. I love when they drop out, like in My Employer.
Yeah.
Feels just like so passionate and emotionally raw. This song felt great. And then there's a section when the song builds that I keep coming back to. The lyric, this one here. Found fire when I was 12. That lasted over 20 years, and I can count on one finger the people who can hurt me now. I don't know what that means, but it just combined with this build, it feels so significant.
Yeah.
And like touching for some reason.
God.
It's like I think I know what he's talking about. And this song is obviously like, I think maybe the most straightforward lyrically on the album. Mm-hmm. It feels like, okay, I'm getting older, work, and
I wish I was a better lyricist.
Yeah.
That's my weakest point in songwriting.
And I don't often pay attention to that aspect. But yeah, I don't know. That build really struck me.
Yeah, no, that's a great song. I liked that one a lot. And like one thing I wanted to bring up actually was the song A Labyrinth with No Center.
Mm-hmm.
This song is it's not all over the place.
Yeah.
But it hits some crazy plot points, if you will.
Yeah.
It starts off like this, nice and calm, and then it builds up, and then about 3 minutes in, there's a crazy turnaround.
Yeah.
I know you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
So let's let this soak in for a second here. Here's a nice little feel, little kind of ominous.
Uh-huh.
Kind of,
There's some like...
Yeah. There's some little oohs and ahs. Maybe more oohs than ahs.
Here it comes, I think.
No, we got 2 more minutes.
This is not the part you're talking about?
No.
Oh, okay.
But this is also unexpected.
Yeah. I would say this is not something I would expect the song to do.
This reminded me of a little bit of some Radiohead action off
Yeah.
OK Computer.
This is Paranoid Android-esque.
Paranoid Android-esque. This album is Paranoid Android.
Yeah, if you like Paranoid Android and you want a whole album of like heavier rock versions of that.
The part that stood out to me was about 3 minutes in. Let it simmer. It kind of calms down a little bit, and it's traveling. It's getting you to where you need to go.
This part's so cool.
Yeah, I like that. Seeing it's not like ooh wah-ohs,
But no.
like in
Oh,
this.
yeah.
Where
Yeah.
the bass just comes in like that. The drums.
Kicks ass, yeah.
I was like, what just happened? That was awesome.
Yeah. It's rolling out of nowhere. Everything drops out, too. This is like Sonic Youthy.
Is it now?
It is.
Is it, do you say?
I say it, I stick into it.
Do you say that it is?
You want me to keep going?
Uh-huh.
It is.
I'm all hopped up on this coffee now, man. I'm just having a good time rolling.
I regret this.
Oh God, I spilled. Oh God. Okay, we're good.
Any others?
Yeah, my number one. Do you want to know my number one?
Oh, yeah.
Top song on the album?
Yeah.
Bruxist Grin.
Okay. You know, that's an honorable mention for me.
Damn it. I kind of thought that you were going to be like, that was my number one too.
This song rules. Don't get me wrong. This was the initial single for the album. The first single they released.
This feels like a straight up British invasion song to me.
Yeah, there's something about this guitar line.
100%.
Like-
And the tambourine in the background. Even the vocals here.
Yeah. Was it not the Who?
No, not the Who. What?
Yeah, what band am I thinking of? Anyway,
Monkeys?
is that what you're thinking of? I'm not thinking
No.
of Monkeys.
I can't think of what I'm thinking of either, but I'm just trying to help you out with some lukewarm suggestions.
Oh shoot! What's this band? It's gonna kill me. Never mind. Yeah, this song is tight. When it breaks out too with the trouble.
Scott, this song is so tight.
Yeah.
The drums there, that's an awesome drum line. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna imitate it.
Chris Cuss. I think people when they talk about this band, they mention him a lot. The drummer.
Uh huh.
I think I could see why. It's a very
I get why.
Yeah, very cool drumming, unconventional drumming in this. I love this.
Oh shit! I just paused.
It's okay. Just know I love that part.
Okay.
You guys can listen to it at home. It's just I wrote down that it's got some earworms. You could sing along, and then the song segues out of that too into the next song. But anyway, it's just like how the album is. So
Yeah.
so that's your number one.
That's my number one. Yeah.
Okay.
I thought it was really cool. And I didn't know that was like a single of theirs.
Mm-hmm.
So now that I know it was the single, I'm like, oh man, I should have picked it different.
Well, I mean, like, what is a single for an album like this? It's not like they're
Yeah.
releasing music videos or whatever. I don't even know
Yeah.
if they released a physical single, but still, yeah, it's an awesome song. It makes the most sense as a single because it kind of feels like the centerpiece of the album. To
Yeah.
me.
I agree.
Because that opening line is just so sudden and different. Very, like you were saying, British. Yeah, I don't know what it is
Yeah.
that makes it sound like that. But so for me, my employer and hair, we went over Lord of Calendars was one of my standouts. What I liked about this song was, and we already talked about it, was this was very Paranoid Android to me,
Yeah.
where the most like, I don't know, it sounded very Radioheady to me, this song. Not this part, of course, but like
Classic Tom York.
yeah.
Coming
Tom
in with-
York.
coming in with the growl.
But yeah, we already talked about this part. I love that part. And then it builds out at the end where it just gets epic for no freaking reason. That was one of my picks. I love the progression in that song. I picked a lot of songs, two more. The ending of this album. So between the last two tracks, Hiding Places and No Hands, I think this album ended beautifully. Hiding Places felt like, they teach you about like Shakespearean plays where it's like there's 5 acts, and like there's like a climax, and the rest of it is like getting over the climax, like the resolution, or
resolve, maybe.
Yeah, I feel like
that's the term they used.
Yeah, I feel like Hiding Places is the climax, and No Hands is the resolution. So yeah, Hiding Places.
That's a good way to put it.
It's a very awesome, huge climactic track. It starts out like that. It just sounds huge to me, and then it kind of drops out. But yeah, it just feels like very triumphant and powerful. This was the one with the crazy ass, like, this thing.
Yeah.
And this is like right at the end of the song, and then it like drops out, and he's doing this thing where he's just like yelling into this ether. It just feels like so cathartic. The song, it feels like a release of all of the emotions kind of before it on this album.
Are they coming to town anytime soon?
They're coming to Reno. I'm seeing them.
Reno. When is that?
June. It's on a Monday. They're playing Tuesday in San Fran and Monday in Reno. I'm probably going to see them in Reno. You're welcome. You tag along.
I kind of want to.
The tickets are only like $10.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm most likely in. Just got to see if I can get that Tuesday off or something.
Yeah, I'd love to see them live. I wanted to stress how awesome it is between these 2 tracks. So this is the end of the Hiding Places where he starts like screaming, and then No Hands is just like after the flood kind of. It's just like, I don't know. It's like the dust settles, and it feels very like somber. I keep using that word for this review.
You're very passionate about this album.
Am I?
Yeah.
I've been listening the crap out of it.
It's pumping me up.
And then, yeah, I've been listening to this album so much. I feel like,
starting to feel self-conscious.
Maybe
about
I'm like overthinking it. I'm wondering.
No, I think you're on the money with a lot of this.
The line in this song that got me, and it's kind of the chorus of this song. This is the outro. No Hands. Anything too stupid to be said is sung.
Interesting.
I feel like that's like, it feels like a mission statement or something to me. It's like, after all this album, it's like a double album. They finish, they get this huge climactic thing with Hiding Places. Then it's just him in like a... Here. It's like a very, I don't know, saddening delivery of that, I guess.
Yeah.
This feels like a very emotional album overall, and I don't necessarily know exactly what they're going for as far as like personal issues or statements. I don't know if there's something tying all these tracks together, but they feel so cohesive naturally, instrumentally, that I can't help but feel like all of the emotions and everything kind of gets funneled down into that statement. And that's just maybe me reading into it, but it's just a really great and satisfying ending.
I'm going to be blasting this album at work tomorrow now.
Yeah, think about it like that. I mean, really, what you listen to, anything you listen to is as good as you want it to be. If you connect on an album like I've connected with this album, it can have more meaning than it. I want to think that they thought this through too. I don't know if that's the mission statement, but it just sounds like it. It feels like it to me. That's I'm making
Call him up.
It that.
Ask him.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael.
I forgot his name already.
I forgot the last name.
Rick.
Oh fuck. Michael.
Hey, Rick.
Hey, Rick. You're Michael now.
You're Michael McGuire.
So, is this the mission statement? What gives?
Yeah. I have very little to no complaints about this album. I feel like it's one of the best albums I've heard in years. I might even like it more than Daughters. I think it's probably better.
Wow.
Yeah, I feel like I will listen to this album more than I listened to the latest Daughters album. I adored that album too. I can't see myself getting sick of it. I don't know. You know, they hit my soul strings.
They definitely did.
It's like, yeah, this is for me. Everything about this album is great. I can't fault them. Aside from maybe just like some, like, okay, what are you going for here? I don't know, lyrically. I wish I knew a little bit of like something that tied it together to verify that I'm not just like blowing smoke in their ass or whatever with the epic epic descriptions I'm giving it. But
yeah,
it just feels so epic. So whatever.
That's fair. It has been, I guess it's been a while since I've really connected with something like that. It just unexpectedly pumps you up. Well, no. Painted Ruins, Grizzly Bear.
Yeah.
That's how that was for me.
The whole album?
Okay. Maybe not the whole album. Majority of the album. Enough of the album. I guess it's been a while since an entire album I've connected with like that.
Yeah.
Where every single song is like, God damn, this one smacks. This one bangs.
And if I was like super hyped for this, maybe I would like it less. But the fact that it like blindsided me, where it's like, yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but then I listen to it and it's just like blows everything I had in anticipation out of the water. Like everything I thought it would be, it was that times 10.
There's been albums that I really connected with and loved all of, if not like majority of the songs on there from bands that you and other members of the group have made fun of me for liking. So I'm not even going to bring up those albums right now.
We all know you have a...
Okay, no, it's not a Korn thing.
Okay. It's okay if it was.
There are Korn albums that... Okay, some of those apply, yes, but that's not what I'm talking about. We can move on.
I have nothing. I think I've exhausted everything. I could say more. I have way more notes, but I mean, I just think of new ways to say how much I like each song, basically. So I don't know. You're
about to plagiarize your own works.
Yeah.
Your own statements. Yeah, before we get into our final thoughts, I forgot to do this at the beginning. You brought me a little candy. I
got you candy.
What is this? What is this I'm about to try live on the pod right now?
I got that from work. Someone at work went to Peru and they brought back these like bags of candy made out of coca leaf, which
eucalyptus coca candy leaf,
which for those who don't know is what they make cocaine out of. So,
I'm about to get fucked up on this candy.
Yeah. You think the caffeine is doing it? You're about to, I'm
about to die.
Have some serious upper.
I'm getting pumped up for the Game of Thrones series finale tonight.
Have fun. I'm not.
I haven't watched the last 2 episodes, so we're going to get caught up on that. And then watch the series finale.
I have only watched the first 2 episodes. We're like opposite.
Well, good for you. All right, I'm going to try this Peruvian candy now. It's green. It looks weird. Looks kind of like a light baby poop green.
Flawless description.
Should I smack this into the microphone?
Switch that around and pull that thing right close to your mouth. Ooh. Getting chills, folks. ASMR.
People are shut the pod off now. People don't like mouth sounds. I might be one of them.
After I just like gushed about this album, they know what I'm going to rate it probably.
Yeah. It tastes kind of like a cough drop.
It is like a cough drop. It's eucalyptus.
Okay, well, it's not very candy-esque. It's more cough drop-esque.
They had 3 flavors. They had just the coca, they had the eucalyptus, and then they had like menta, which is like mint.
Mint?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had all 3, but that was the only one that was left in my pocket. So yeah. If you
so you slid it into my pocket and now I'm eating it.
Yeah, now you're eating it.
Those are the order of events.
Just imagine that without the cough drop aspect. It's just like a sweet like kind of like a green tea flavor.
Yeah.
With
not bad.
With the coca leaf. Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
What would you rate that out of Peruvian Coke Lords?
Out of Peruvian Coke Lords. I would give it maybe like, I don't know, because it tastes a little too cough droppy for me.
Yeah, it's not a very good candy.
That's impacting it. I'd give it like maybe a 4.5 Coke Lords. So like maybe one of them.
Among the weirdest scales I think we've done.
Peruvian Coke Lords. There's 4 Peruvian Coke Lords, and then the other 0.5 is, he had an unfortunate accident.
I like the. I'll give it 4.5 Coke Lords. Just Coke Lord.
Coke Lords.
Coke Lord is just a great combination of words.
Do Coke Lords still exist in the world?
I'm sure they do.
Have they moved on
in Latin America?
Beyond Coke? Is Coke even still relevant? Is it all just heroin and meth now?
People do Coke. Yeah, I think Coke is just I think it's more of like a rich suburban drug at this point. I feel like it's more one of those things just like, yeah, bro, I'm doing Coke. Like
my Uber driver back from the graduation thing yesterday said that he had a lady try to sell him Coke, one of his customers.
I heard it's awful. It's like an awful experience. Like you feel great, but then you feel like reciprocal afterward. Like it's just like how great you feel is how bad you feel afterward. So people it lasts like no time at all, and then you keep doing it.
Yeah.
And then the more you do, the worse you feel later.
I wonder what it feels like afterwards. Like hangover?
Apparently it's just hell. It's just the
shitty.
worst, yeah.
I've heard that all Coke does is make you want more Coke.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
You want more because as soon as you start crashing, it feels like crap. That's what I've heard.
Yeah. Anyway, 4.5 Peruvian Coke Lords for this candy.
Beautiful.
EarBuddies.
So how many Peruvian Coke Lords do you give this album?
Final thoughts. Peruvian Coke Lords for Green and Gray by Pile. I'm having a hard time giving this one a rating because I think a lot of what impacts the album is personal preference.
That's eucalyptus, not mint.
What?
What I said didn't make any sense, but you said pref mints, and there's like a mint version of the Coke candy.
So any opinion I had of this album, I think, like I said before, I think a lot of critiques on this album for me is just kind of boils down to personal preference.
Yeah.
Even hearing you talk about it actually kind of pumped me up for it a little more.
It's not often that I like have expression in general.
You have preference. You emote.
Do I?
You have emotion.
Some people don't think I do.
But then you've also got some monotone habits.
Yeah.
And that's all right. That's okay too.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fight you about this.
I'm not going to fucking argue with you, Scott.
Lay off.
Peruvian Coke Lords for this album. I think I'm going to have to go with 7 Peruvian Coke Lords.
Pretty good score.
I think that it was a good album. I don't know that it was a necessarily fantastic album in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it, and I have a feeling that several months from now, I'm going to come back to it at some point within the next several months, I should say, and my score is probably going to be different in my head.
Honestly, I'm surprised at that score. I thought you would go way lower.
I think that if it hit me... Oh, you thought I'd go lower?
Yeah.
At first, I thought I was going to go lower too.
Yeah, this isn't your type of thing.
No, and I'm kind of trying to push that aside. I am trying to kind of give it a better score based on what I feel it's worth.
Okay.
I think that and maybe it just didn't hit it just didn't hit me the proper way.
Yeah.
But I think it could.
Okay.
I think similar to like what happened with James Blake. I think I mentioned this on another podcast. The song Mile High or whatever with Travis Scott.
Yeah.
that was one of my like bottom of the list songs on that album. And then I had a weird moment where I was not really in a good headspace, and that song was playing, and it fucking hit me in just the right way. It was like just the right life experience for that song to be playing, and now I love that song.
Right. Yeah.
I think something like that's going to happen with this album. Hopefully not like a negative experience, though.
Hey, and that's like a secret goal of mine with this podcast is to expand your horizons.
Yeah, and I'm trying to narrow your horizons.
Narrow my horizons?
Yeah.
That's pretty evil.
I think one of my goals on here is maybe to get you to like a song from a band that I like that you've always given me shit for. One of the bands. Something for you to be like, you know what? This one was cool. I actually like that song.
I'll try to open my mind enough for that to happen.
Please do.
I have a pretty open mind when it comes to music. I just like to trash you.
You do. I know.
It's more of a personal thing.
I think Jordan might trash more of my music than you do.
Yeah.
Calling you out, Jordan Anderson. Friend of the podcast, Jordan Anderson.
Our Utah listener.
And Utah guest. He's been on here a few times now.
Yeah, 2 or 3 times.
If we have him on anymore, it's going to have to be EarBuddies featuring Jordan Anderson.
Shoot. We're going to have to start paying him.
Damn. We don't even pay us.
No. It's more of a negative expense at this point. So I will do my rating now.
Please indulge me in your rating.
What more to say about Pile, Green, and Gray? Just incredible. Dynamically, the connection and flow between songs is like, what the hell? It blew me away. Feels so calculated and arranged. Everything was so orchestrated. Felt great. Twists and turns, satisfying payoffs. Very passionate album. Made me feel passionate. It made me feel things for once.
In your pants?
Pants, face,
chest, palms.
Yeah. When I listen to this album, my knees are weak and my palms are sweaty.
God, hearing you describe this album is making my knees weak.
Good thing you're sitting down, buddy. Yeah, it's also like weirdly catchy. I think despite its like twists and turns and craziness, only a couple songs really do the same thing from beginning to end. It's just weirdly everything works. Even when the sections don't necessarily seem like they would make sense, they do. Nothing really sticks out too aggressively in a bad way. So I can't get enough. I think it's the album of the year so far. Possibly the best album I've heard in years from a new release. Best new release I've heard in a while. And yeah, I didn't have many expectations going in, and coming out of it, I'm saying all this stuff. So I can't recommend it enough. So everyone listening to this who doesn't know anything about Pile, any that sounds good to you, just give it a listen. Please. I'm going to give it 9 Coke Lords.
9 Coke Lords.
9 Coke Lords.
I think that's 0.5 less than you gave Daughters.
Daughters, did I give it a 9.5? I thought I was like...
I think you did.
I was thinking about giving it a 9.5, but I'm going to give it a 9.
I thought you gave it a 9.5. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you did give it a 9.
Well, if I didn't give it a 9, I'm going to give Daughters a 9 now retroactively. And this one a 9 too. I would do like a 9.1 for this one on my current feelings, but I don't want to rate too aggressively high, even though it's a very high rating.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
I like them both about equally at the time of release. We'll see how they age.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to retcon my candy score.
Lower?
It's lower. It's like a 3.5 or a 4.
It's only 4 Coke Lords?
4 Coke Lords, down from 4.5. Not a very good candy.
4 Cork Loads?
I'd rather eat a Halls.
Yeah.
No, actually, I'd rather eat that than a Halls. So, yeah. 4 Coke Lords, Peruvian Coke Lords for that candy.
I'll call you up later when the Coca effect starts taking over you.
Okay, sounds good.
You got to rub it on
Deal.
your gums first. That's your problem.
Oh, you're right. I should have just sat here and rubbed candy up in my gums this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
I fucked up. Once again.
Or you just
Fucked
like
up.
crushed it on a table and snorted it up.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do we think, Ian? Is that sufficient?
I think so. Would you recommend this album, Scott?
All freaking day.
I would recommend it as well.
Why aren't you listening to this album yet, everybody? Just listen to it now.
I think it's worth listening to.
I think it's not everyone's cup of tea. I've seen some other reviews, and people don't seem to be enjoying it as much as me. People seem to like it, but I think, hey, if you're new to Pile, start right here. I think it's the perfect intro to them.
Right on.
And they've been going on. This is their 7th album, so I think start here and go backward. It's an awesome album. So,
all right, Scott, you want to wrap this up?
let's wrap it up.
If anybody out there needs to get a hold of us with comments, questions, concerns, or compliments, you can reach us at EarBuddiespod on all platforms, earbuddiespod@gmail.com to reach out to us with something or other. If anybody wants to slide into our DMs, the EarBuddy DMs, shoot us your material. And maybe we'll give it a little listen on the pod, a little critique.
Also, we're on Facebook now.
We are on Facebook.
Also, maybe by the time this is released, we'll get the YouTube thing figured out. So
Yes.
you
Okay,
can find
so-
us on YouTube. Yeah,
So maybe not all platforms, but we're getting there.
we're getting there. I think it will be out on YouTube though.
Okay, cool.
We'll shoot for that. If not, sorry.
It better fucking happen. We want to remind everyone out there to check your Diddy Miss. Until next time, this has been EarBuddies.
Bye.
This has been another installment of the EarBuddies podcast. Bye-bye now.